everyone, and welcome back to Pesterquest streams. Welcome, Jade. Welcome, anyone viewing anonymously. So, it's Tavros night. But before we hop right into that, there actually is a little community news today to make up for the little slump yesterday. Although there's not much. There is not much community news, but there's a little bit. Just a touch. So, first of all, we got the cover for Book 6, Act 5, Act 2, Part 1. Which is just quite a mouthful to say, but I wouldn't expect any less from Homestuck. So, this is as big as it is. I can't really blow it up anymore at this point. But, yeah, there's Vriska. There's God tier Vriska, but with like a cleverly concealed face so as not to spoil the surprise. We have Jade in the Iron Lass outfit, which is interesting because I remember, this was long enough ago for me that I saw it on Tumblr, okay? But it was, I think it might have been around the time when they started using the original, doing the original publication with DePetico. But there were people joking about whether or not they'd even be able to keep the Iron Lass outfit in because they get fucking sued by Disney. But if they're putting it on the cover, I guess they're just saying, they're either saying fuck it or they got permission somehow. I highly suspect they're just saying fuck it. I mean, like, that should be fair use, right? The Iron Lass outfit. Anyway. That was the first thing that came to mind when I saw that, because I remember that post. Yes, Jade with lots of little froggies. Grimdark Rose. Oh, that's so... I cannot wait to see that cover art, like, in full, so I can see the beautiful... It looks like they did a really good job detailing all of the things coming out of Grimdark Rose. It's not just a cloud of blackness. Like, I can see very clearly the horror terrors, even in this little thumbnail. And yes, welcome, Bridge, the mayor! You try and stay as long as you can. That's chill. We'll be happy to have you while you can be around. Yeah, the motherfucking mayor. Although in this case he is... Shit, no. Don't tell me, I know this. WV. My brain is going to everything except his name in this part of the story. It's not the Wayward Vagabond yet. My brain keeps going to Windswept Quiescent, and that's not... No, that's not correct. Fuck. War-weary villain. That's it. War-weary villain. Bam. I do remember things sometimes. Yes, we have a time-traveling Dave and God tier John with the Warhammer of Zillihu. Yes, because the last book left off with him being fucking stabbed in the chest on his quest bed, and they stopped it there. So the next book will start, I'm assuming, with John ascending. Oh, it's the wizardly vassal with the blanket robes? Fuck. I kind of got it right. I'm pretty sure that's one of his other names. Isn't it? But yeah, the wizardly vassal also is a name that he has. So many fucking names. God. That's one of the most interesting names, interesting things going back through with the Homestuck reread streams is it's fun to go back and be like, okay, so this character is named this, and this. Because it's so hard to remember every single one. Usually, I will remember at least one name for every character. But, like, I'm looking at the Robo Bunny, and I'm like, John named that Liv Tyler, right? But I'm pretty sure that both Jake and Jade each had their own names for the bunny, like the Robo Bunny. It was just before. Yeah. Yeah, so this is semi correct, but not correct for this particular iteration of the beautiful, wonderful mayor. But yeah, you know what? I wanna I'm interested to get to the intermission when we in the rereads, because I want to see how many of the Felt's names that I remember. Terry Kaiser? Yes, that was it. That was, I think, that was Jake's name, right? You're playing Pokemon. Nice. Yeah, fair. Fucking fair. So, anyway, if you would like to... Oh, I forgot. They have their little description, too. Release date. March 10th, 2020. That is 10 days before the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm gonna lose a lot of money in March. I guess I'm just gonna have to lose a whole bunch of money in March. Your Mudsdale is basically a giant puppy. It's cute. Yeah, March be like many, many dollar signs, like hand it all over, and I'm just like, fine. Okay, so the description for this book, which I think is going to be all the rest of Act 5, Act 2. But as the game sessions tick down into their final hours, the players spin up into... Wow. First reading of the day, folks. Let's, As the game sessions tick down into their final hours, the players spin up into frenzied action. Their rivalries and ridiculously elaborate competing plans entail spooky paranormal phenomena, random teleportation murders, grim darkness, crazy suicide missions, silly conversations, password nonsense, lipstick chainsaw retribution, wreaking some havoc, and being Santa. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Hussey's notes are on Murderstuck, because that's looking like that's what's going to be in this book, if they're not splitting Act 5, Act 2 into 3 parts. If they're just doing 2 parts, it'll definitely be in this book, so, like, really interested to hear that. I stopped reading the first Act 5, Act 2 book a while ago, just because, like, school stuff picked up and I forgot that I was in the middle of reading, but I picked it back up yesterday, and I gotta say, when he's not telling jokes in poor taste, the commentary on the writing is very interesting. Yeah, shit, let's be Santa. Damn. You know, print out a Kringle fucker and tape it to my door, but upside down. But yes, this is news on the official front. And I have some news from here. I hate it when I have, like, the notification thing. Hello. Click, clickety click. Do I have to reload the fucking page? Thank you. I just really want to get rid of that notification. So, Mackin got permission from Hussey to plant the number 22 Toblerone in Osaka, Japan. So he did that. And it was found pretty quickly. It has already been located by this user who took their own picture of it. So there may be another Toblerone wish on the horizon. We'll just have to see what comes out of this. Heard about it earlier, yeah. Yeah, I'm in the Reddit Discord, but I have literally everything muted except for the announcement channels. And even now I'm just like, well, how many things do they announce that I don't get a notification from in like 3 other servers? But yeah. So, we'll have to keep an eye out for those developments and where that goes. But in the meantime, today is Tavros Day. So let's get that Pesterquest open. Same? Yeah, that's, you know. I participated very minimally in that Discord server when I first got Discord. But very quickly found out that there are much nicer places to hang out and talk about Homestuck on Discord. Yeah, and also places that move a lot slower. I can't do servers that have like so many people. I can't keep up with the conversation, you know what I mean? Stresses me out. Okay, so Volume 8, Route 1, Glimmering Gold and Cold Iron. Oh, pardon me. My goodness. I had to work again today. PTLN. Welcome. We are just getting started. Well, yes, I do apologize for yawning. I had work today. It wasn't so bad, though. It was only a 4-hour shift, but it was a Saturday, so it was busier. Yes, this is, oh yeah, isn't this literally the song that just finished playing during the pre-stream music? Fuck, it is. It's Bronze Rebel. Yeah, so the music is... This is Bronze Rebel from Colors and Mayhem. Well, as an aside, one of my tweetly dudes... I was going to talk about this later, but we might as well just talk about it now. So James Rush did tweet out that Clark Powell would be doing Tavros' theme for this week, and this is not a Clark Powell song. This is we'll talk about who actually did this song when we look at the credits later. So I guess that didn't work out, but I really do hope that Clark Powell does some original music, maybe for one of the later routes if this one didn't work out for whatever reason. Yeah, it would be pretty sweet for them to join the game. Okay, but we do have Bronze Rebel, which is also a fantastic song. Loud? Oh shit, what is the background music overpowering my voice? Because in that case, I can turn it the fuck down. Okay, yeah, let me just... Okay, how is it, Sorry, just adjusting myself. How is it now? I just turned it down 5 decibels. Oh! I don't know where along the line I turned my microphone down like 20 decibels, but somewhere I accidentally clicked and turned it down 20 decibels. So, how is it now? Is it good? Should I turn the music back down? Am I okay? It's better? Good? Alright, good stuff. Yeah, I must have just misclicked at some point and like adjusted the wrong thing or something. Anyway, so now the settings are back where they should be. Okay. Wait a second, I am on the right thing. Yes, I am. Good. Okay, I was like, did I show the game yet? Yes, I am showing the game. I am not showing the web browser. So, on that note, we are set to start. Actually, I'm going to move my microphone. So now I can sit back a little further, get nice and cozy. Okay. Tavros Nitram. You're enjoying a brisk, head-clearing walk in the Alternian moonlight when the plot comes screaming towards you. Literally. You don't even have time for introspection. Oh dear. You turn your head to see a guy in a wheelchair whizzing down a nearby hill. He's got a phone in one hand, making it difficult for him to control his descent with the other. You quickly rush over in time to see him hit a rock and go flying through the air with an impressive arc. Alright, that's my best groan right now. You bring the fallen wheelchair over to him. He stares at you for a second and then pulls himself back into it with a grunt. Thank you, weird and ugly alien stranger. Guess Tav's dead, game over, everyone go home. Yeah, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, god damn, like we can't, it's 3 lines in and we can't give this kid a fucking break. Once he's settled into the chair, you look over the boy you just helped. He's lanky and scrawny, except for his oversized horns, giving the impression of a boy going through a very awkward puberty. His wheelchair is simple and flimsy, and it looks like it's gone through a lot of wear and tear. Oh, introductorily speaking, I should say that my name is Tavros. Tavros! As is now usual for you, the name sounds familiar even though you're not sure any of your other friends mentioned him by name. You give him a proper greeting and then ask what happened, and he nods towards an old watchtower at the top of the hill. Yeah, I've noticed on my computer too that the music in this volume is like, it's louder than usual. Okay, I just turned, let me just double check that yes, I clicked on the correct one this time, and I turned the music down like 5 decibels, so let me know if it's good or if it's still giving issues. I was attempting to scale toward the tower to acquire a rare Fiduspawn Go monster, what is named Wovelpine. Fiduspawn Go. It's ranked Aether Mythic Triple Rare class, which is one of the rarest of all, at least concerning monsters that can be found in low-blooded neighborhoods. But it appears to be tragically out of my reach, no matter how much I believe in my ability to pursue it. You don't know what a Fiduspawn is, but maybe you could help. You've wrangled a few monsters in your time. What? You know, you could help push him up the hill. Maybe fight some giant horrifying beast. The usual. Wow, I normally am expected to do everything myself, always. The only trolls who offer me help are those who live too far away to actually do anything of consequence. Which is fine, I get it, but it's pretty useless to me. Anyway. No. What? I don't want your help, on account of if I take it, I will be weakening myself and failing to grow as a troll. I will just have to try again, and again, and get grievously hurt in the process, probably. Don't worry. That's... Oy. Yeah, that if I let you help me, I will just be weakening myself. That's incorrect. That is a bad mindset picked up from certain influences. Tavros begins to wheel back toward the hill. You know how this story goes. You'll have to spend your entire evening convincing this poor troll boy that it's okay to accept help from others. You launch into a gentle pitch about how help from a friend can... well, if you say so, then I accept your help. Oh, that was easy. You follow Tavros up the hill. When he reaches the steepest part and his wheels begin to lose traction, you step in behind him to give him the little push he needs. The two of you are successful in scaling the hill, and Tavros grins and taps at his phone. Oh, it's a phone game? No real monsters involved? Holy shit, this is news to you. Yes, Wolvelpine is now acquired. Thank you so greatly. Maybe the cartoons for Wigglers were right all along, and friendship is truly the greatest source of power to exist. Finally, someone who gets you. You ask if he wants a quick ride home, and he tilts his head in confusion. I already have a ride. Always. I'm sitting in it. Not like that. You tell him it's hard to explain. Just trust you on this one. Okay, let's go. With that, you grip his chair and focus your energy, and zap on over to his hive. Whoa, are you magic? Yes. Awesome. Do you know any fairies? No. Shucks. Tavros glances around the room, and you follow suit. Your eyes settle on an advertisement for the theatrical run of Pupa Pan. A pinch of special stardust is all it takes to fly. Brought to you by Her Imperious Condescension's 19th favorite theater company. Reserved seating for high bloods, hecklers will be called. The rest of the room is rather plain and sparsely decorated. The floor is scattered with messy gaming supplies. So, this is my hive. What do you think? Would you characterize this pad as sufficiently cool? Don't... God. Oh, this fucking kid. You glance at a framed picture of a fey trickster in booty shorts. Sure. Yeah, this pad is cool as hell. Are you just yourself in this game or a specific character? It's kind of both. And yeah, no, it's all good. All questions welcome. Yeah, so like you're playing as the character MSPA Reader, but like MSPA Reader is an audience stand-in character, but kind of also has their own like specific traits, like having a fantastic ass. You know, and their own sort of personality and words. That's kind of put into all of the, you know, the kind of quote-unquote narrative text. An ass that kills. Yes, an ass that kills. Oh, and great legs. And a thirst for friendship. Set on a baby. Oh, God. That was a good route, though. Excellent. I hoped you would. Your approval is most good to have. I thought you might be uninterested on account of me being boring and kind of sad. Aw, boring and sad kids are your favorite, you tell Tavros. Wait, that sounds terrible. Ignore that. You mean you relish the opportunity to make people less sad. Oh, don't worry then, because I'm definitely sorrowful enough to satisfy. Also, I'm not great at talking either, so we have at least one point of failure in common. Thanks? Yeah, fucking backhanded as hell. Tavros flashes you a thumbs up and a wink. He wheels closer to you, and one of his scattered cards crunches under a tread and gets stuck, necessitating a bit of finagling. You must admit, you're a little surprised by the wheelchair. Your experiences on Alternia would suggest that their culture is not very kind to the disabled. Oh, it very isn't. There is a long story behind the fact of me being like this. Kanaya says not to talk about it because it hurts my self-esteem. Oh, okay, that's fine. You can turn your attention to some of his cards. Perhaps he can teach you... Well, if you insist, I will reveal to you my tragic backstory. I used to be more of a hardcore gamer who would do the extreme roleplays. Where does this game take place canon-wise? Oh, that's a complicated question. Outside of canon? I guess is the briefest answer I can give. It's an alternate universe doomed reality where the game doesn't happen. Yeah, I mean the definition of canon has been yeah, the both the work itself and fandom have been playing football with the word canon and kicking the shit out of it and talking about what it means, what it doesn't mean, redefining it, etc., etc. A lot of metafictional stuff. That was your guess? Yeah, so this is... Yeah, the fact that the MSP reader character is here right now is basically the whole reason that this whole place is fucked. Can I court Hussy? Oh, you mean like, do you mean is Hussy one of these roots? No, Mr. Hussy is not, one of these. The only troll, we have all the beta kids, the only trolls we're missing are Solix, Nepeta, Arid, and Feferi, who are expected to be in the next 2 volumes, and then we'll have a volume each for the alpha kids. That would be terrible. I mean, like, I think it's an interesting concept. I just think that he would probably not be a fan, and I completely empathize with that. Okay, Tavros is about to tell us his tragic backstory. I used to be more of a hardcore gamer who would do the extreme role plays. And I had a friend, or I thought she was my friend, who I did flarp with. Oh, you're familiar with flarp. You are Piss Icarus. Thank you, Aleph, for choosing Piss Icarus when we did the Vriska route. Come to think of it, you've got a great flirt friend who he might love to meet. Oh boy. Well, I don't play anymore, because this old friend of mine did a bad thing to me, resulting in a chain of revenge that was very tragical. Especially since essentially the story is that I was thrown off of a cliff, psychically, and became heavily injured, which resulted in my legs not working. Oh god, that sounds terrible. The culprit continues to hassle me sometimes in ways which are supposedly remorseful, but mostly continue to make me feel bad. For instance, trying to make me learn how to climb stairs, or fight better, or telling me I'm useless and awful because I can't. Although she sent me this 4-wheel device, which helps me to not be cold, so that's nice, I guess. Although maybe she wouldn't have done that if Kanaya didn't say to. I don't know, she's hard to understand. Sometimes very nice, and other times extremely not nice, and I can't figure out how she truly feels about me. Wow, this girl Tavros is talking about seems like a real piece of work. You sure are glad that none of your friends are anything like that. Oh boy. You're gonna hear me say that a lot during this route. Yeah, but maybe it's best not to think about her actually. Kanaya was right. Why don't I teach you how to play Tavros? Speak of the devil. Tavros freezes up instinctively. Oh no, that's her. The one who injured me. Oh no, your spine ices over. You recognize that telltale exaggerated call, but how can this be? How could your dear, sweet, precious friend Vriska have done such a horrible thing to— okay, yeah, no, this tracks. Maybe she did do one thing wrong. I'm sure a lot of people were very upset about that line. But why? This isn't like the other kids she killed. You know Vriska is violent and volatile. She had to be to survive. But to harass Tavros after the fact instead of just feeding him to her Lucis? It doesn't make sense. You feel sick to your stomach. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would she do this? Well, because she didn't want to hurt him in the first place. Doc Scratch manipulated her into doing it. Rip. Hey, Tavros, you haven't been answering my messages. We need to talk. Her voice comes from outside the window as it moves around the perimeter of the house. You glance at Tavros' stricken face as you hear the sound of keys jingling a lock. Fuck, she has the keys to his hive? Tavros groans and leans back in his chair. Vriska barges into the respite block and then freezes up. Oh, hey. Hey, you say with an awkward wave. Vriska seems uncomfortable. I didn't know you knew this dork. It's a friendship in progress. Tavros has told you some things about their past together. Of course he has. Okay, listen. I know it sounds bad, because it is, and I get that, okay? Way back when, it was less than a sweep ago, I was part of a FLARP campaign that went way off the rails, and Tavros ended up getting thrown off a cliff. It was basically my fault. But that's all in the past now. Things are better now. I hooked Tavros up with this sweet wheelchair and everything. It's not that sweet. Shut up, Tavros. I'm talking about how terrible I feel about hurting you. Now that's the Act 5 Vriska that I know. Tavros cringes, and you try to intercede on his behalf. Why is Vriska here? Oh, right. I'm here to extend an olive branch. Very magnanimously so, if you ask me. Terezi and I are getting the band back together. Not for FLARP, obviously. That ship has sailed. But we're going to whip this planet into shape, and we need all the help we can get. You've spent enough time moping around uselessly. It's time for some action. You're in, right? No? What do you mean, no? I mean, I don't really want to do anything exciting or dangerous like that. And especially because you're going to be involved, I don't think it would be good for me to also be. Oh, come on. Things are totally square between us, Tavros. We all got hurt. Besides, I'm just trying to help you live up to your potential. You could be somebody. You could finally start living up to your legacy. I don't want to be somebody. At least not your kind of somebody. Tough luck, Toreador. None of us get that choice. If nothing changes by the time your rites of maturation roll around, you're screwed. The drones will cull you in an instant. Vriska turns to you. Her eye is wide, her fist trembling. Her frustrated glare barely conceals the desperation beneath. I mean, you agree with me, right? Tavros needs to shape up. He needs us. It's time we put the past behind us and moved on. I'm just trying to help him. She leans closer. It's obvious she wants you to back her up. That's a lot to unpack. But this Vriska doing Vriska things is not great. I mean, theoretically, she sounds like she's just trying to help, but her methodologies of just trying to help are, like, horrible and are not beneficial to the needs of who she is trying to help. And I feel like that can extend to most situations where she is trying to help or strengthen. Oh, yes. No, of course. Nothing horrible could possibly come out of this. So, we're gonna get the short end out of the way first, as usual. Now, there's 3 options, but we're gonna choose the top one first, and you will see why. Don't take a side. Who do you think you are, a centrist? This is a choice-driven narrative game, and that obviously means having to choose between 2 equally unsatisfying, mutually incompatible options which will forever alienate you from the side you did not pick. Try again. So I feel like maybe this is just me being steeped in the discourse, but I feel like that was, yeah, definitely a little bit of meta going on there, and poking fun at the people who think that's how liking Vriska or liking Tavros works, because it's not. You can appreciate and understand both of these characters at the same time. Like, it's really, it ain't rocket science, folks. Yeah. So we're back here now. And the short end is side with Vriska. You can't resist her force of personality. When Vriska speaks, it just sounds right. You tell Tavros that he should accept Vriska's offer. Hell yeah! See, Tavros? My buddy here agrees. Let bygones be bygones. Tavros shrinks into his chair, small and sad. The 2 of you just stare at him as the awkward silence swirls like mist around you. Vriska clenches her fist and steps forward, but you quickly put a hand on her shoulder and she pauses. You love how both Kanaya and Tavros' roots are centered around the relationship with Vriska, and by love you mean Tavros' root does not entirely center around his relationship with Vriska. It does explore other things later on, but yeah, it is kind of like, does it really have to be about her in both of these? But you know what, at this point that in the story that we're joining them, that's just where they were. Like, a Tavros route that didn't deal with Tavros' relationship to Vriska would, I don't know, I think it would feel a little off, because that was a really, really big part of his life at this point in the story. And the same with Kanaya. That was a really, really big part of her life at the point in the story where we first meet her, is her attachment to Vriska and her crush on Vriska. A lot of the other roots are about their relationship with other characters. Yeah. That is true. They're 13. There's all kinds, it's relationship drama time. God, my friends and I yell at each other so much when we were 13. Anyway, that's an aside. But, yeah, like, it's important to his story to, like, actually address this. So they're addressing it first, and then we explore some other parts of his character post Vriska. Ugh. Being around here is depressing, and someone doesn't want my help anyway. Whatever. Come on, MSPA reader. I've had enough bull for one night. Let's go chill out somewhere less boring. Like, I don't know, an arcade? Maybe a movie theater? What do people without a lucis to take care of even do? You suggest to Vriska that you can find out. Together. She beams. Okay. Bye, I guess. Tavros seems conflicted, as though he can't decide whether to be relieved that Vriska is leaving or upset that you're abandoning him. You don't really care, though. You're going to an arcade. And that is our first short end. There's only one short end in this route. That is the short end. We agree with Vriska and fucking ditch. You just, yeah, you're straight up like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I just need some water before we keep reading. What? Sorry, I thought that ding on my phone was something else. But, apparently my internet security is expiring. So, you know, I'll deal with that. Not right now. Okay. Side with Tavros. You take a step closer to Tavros, and Vriska visibly deflates. Come on, MSPA reader. You can't seriously be on his side. Yes, you can be, and you are. You think you understand now. You see how Vriska took her suffering and bitterness and passed it along. You see how, under beastly tutelage, she learned to sink her fangs into her prey and tell herself she was doing it for their own good. In these two, you see a microcosm of Alternia, of hurt kids hurting kids, until finally the buck stops at the kindest or weakest among them. Which, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty fair summation of the relationship that they have. So no matter how much sympathy you have for her, you can't stand idly by and let Vriska continue this cycle of hurt. You tell Vriska to look at Tavros. Really look at him. And ask herself if her help has done anything for him. Because, yeah, that's just about it. No matter how much sympathy you have for her, no matter how much, you know, it's like, damn, she got some tough shit, you know, with Spider-Mom and all this stuff. But, you know, gotta stop the cycle somewhere. Isn't this the kind of suffering that she and Terzi want to prevent? Right now, the best thing she can do for Tavros is leave him alone. Leave him alone? You don't get it. None of you do. If I leave him alone, he's toast. Seriously, how have you not figured that out by now? You've seen what this planet is like. You think we can just flip a switch and fix everything over a day? He's a worthless loser living in a world that hates losers, and if that doesn't change, he's going to die a sad, pathetic death. He's going to die a sad, pathetic death. And you and Kanaya and everyone else, you're just enabling him. When he croaks, it's going to be on your head, not mine. So if you'd rather hang out with Tavros in his make-believe fairyland, be my guest. But some of us are still going to be living here in the real world. You and Vriska spend a while staring at one another. All you can muster is a look of pity, which only seems to incense her further. Her face scrunches up and then goes steely and flat. Her voice is icily calm. You two have your fun. I'm out. she feels guilt, huh? I mean, yeah, she does. But yeah, just her way of trying to absolve herself. My God, talking in words. Her way of trying to absolve herself of that guilt is highly unproductive. In that it's just her trying to absolve herself of her guilt, not her actually trying to make the situation better. Like, technically that's what she's aiming to do, supposedly, but like, she's not helping at all. She's doing the opposite. It's you know, it's what's the word? All of the words I can think of to describe it are not quite what I'm trying to get at, but you know, it's not, you know, she's not thinking about Tavros, she's only thinking about absolving herself within these actions. And we see that even later on. We see that later on in Homestuck as well, with, you know, again with Tavros, when she throws him into the Sprite and then is like, yeah, we're all good now because I made you alive again. That's not how that works. You know? Or, you know, she combined him with a cat, which she was apparently allergic to. I don't think that ever came up at any other point in the story. We'll see on the reread. But, you know, she does that, and then she's like, why is he upset? I made him a god. And it's like, well, you combined him with, you know, something that's making him ill. Anyway. Vriska is out. That is Vriska out. Goodbye. Oh, did I read that line? I don't know if I did. Vriska slams the door shut as she leaves. Tavros exhales a long sigh of relief. Well, that went pretty well for an encounter with Vriska, all things considered. I only feel somewhat terrible about who I am. Slowly, gently, you place a comforting hand on Tavros' shoulder and tell him that he deserves better than this. It's not his fault. Vriska is difficult. I don't like the use of the word difficult here, because it seems to be implying a negative connotation. Maybe that's just me, but also there's just, you know, there's a history of, you know, difficult being used in the place where what people really want to say is they want, like, I'm just thinking about my work again, like working with kids. Like, they want to be like, you know, like the phrase like a problem camper, for example, which is a phrase that we explicitly never use at the camp where I work because it's so negative and condescending. But I feel like calling Vriska, being like, she's difficult in this circumstance, like, has that same ring to it that I'm not a fan of. Or, you know, it'll be like someone who has complicated trauma and you know, they'll be, oh, they're difficult. It just, ugh, I don't know about the ring to that, but that's just my own personal network of associations, I suppose. I feel like I could have worded that a little bit more succinctly, but I also feel like I got the point that I was trying to get to. Do y'all know what I mean? I'm gonna keep reading, but do y'all know what I mean by that? Are y'all getting the same vibes, or is that just me over here? Yeah, Kanaya says that too. I sometimes almost believe her when she does. The room is silent except for a faint wriggling noise coming from some of the balls on Tavros' floor. You don't know what else to say. Would you enjoy playing some Fidu Spawn with me, perhaps? As a manner of distraction. Oh, fuck yes, you tell him. Let's spawn some Fidu? Fidu says? Yeah. Your FLARP experience inured you to Alternian game design, so you're only mildly nauseated when Tavros shows you how the physical version of Fidu Spawn works. Chitinous purple creatures explode from gooey orbs and infest plushies before bursting out into the form of large monsters with more limbs than you're comfortable with. Also, you have a handful of cards with wow. It's almost break time. Also, you have a handful of cards which boost their attributes or allow you to interfere with your opponent's monsters. There's a lot to keep track of here. Before too long, the room is full with chittering purple monstrosities and queasy-looking host plushes on the verge of birthing even more abominations. You are so lost. But you think you're winning? Your creatures appear to be doing a better job of preying on his host plushes and spawning more of themselves. You've got a meter in the corner that keeps going up while his goes down. That's good, right? You think it's good, at least where victory is concerned. But you are more concerned with the dejected look on Tavros' face. He doesn't seem to be giving the game his all. You ask him if he's doing okay. No. Oh, okay, he just came out and said it. Well, you know, that's fair, you asked. My fun has been stymied, I think, by my thoughts about Vriska. He wheels himself over to the window and looks despondently out. I used to like Vriska a lot, you know, and admire her for her many qualities that were good, such as being very confident or having skill at games. But now I just hate her, or feel like I should hate her, but instead do not feel those feelings. In their place, I feel very conflicted and bad about myself, and wonder if there is something wrong that I can't feel as angry as I should. Or make myself to become strong enough to talk to her properly about my feelings. It's just a big mess. You glance again at the posters lining Tavros' walls. Sprightly fairy girls with confident smiles, long messy hair, and blue color schemes. The resemblance to Vriska is uncanny but superficial. She's never going to be like the girl from his posters. That's just not who Vriska is. So I feel kind of weird about this line, because, again, it's the false conflation of these posters to Vriska, rather than, you know, Vriska imitating these posters to appeal to Tavros in the later scene in Act 5, Act 1. Yeah, I don't know, there's just something else that's kind of weird about, like, this whole, yeah, I don't know. I'm, like, trying to... I don't know. Let's keep reading. I'll see if I can clear my thoughts. But for a sad, hurt boy who likes to dream, she must seem so painfully close. Yeah, I don't know if I like how they're talking about Vriska. I guess, like, I don't know. I guess, like, the feeling of discomfort for me is similar to the feeling of discomfort when they were like, oh, she's difficult. You know? Maybe I'll have, I don't know. I was trying hard to find like the words for this before I streamed it, but I'm still kind of struggling to describe exactly why the way the narrative is talking about her here makes me uncomfortable. I guess it's like the manic pixie dream girl kind of framing. Where they're saying like, oh, that's not Vriska, but she must seem so painfully close to this boy who likes to dream and all that. It's just like, fuck, I feel like I'm really not doing this justice. This is a problem too big for you to untangle right now. You need to redirect Tavros' thoughts. You close your eyes and ask your intuition. What should you do? Okay, so here's the choice. I'm gonna ruminate on the words for that whole way that they described his relationship to Vriska, because it just... Something about it sets off alarm bells in my head. But, right now, it is time for... Whoops, didn't mean to click on that. That's what I meant to open. Right now, it's time for break. It is 12:03, so... We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna take 5 minutes, chill out a little bit, rest my voice, and then... when I return... The second choice is chat's choice. Do you want to help him fly or stay grounded? Which one do you want to do first? Have your answers ready for after the break. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. Looks like we're gonna help him stay grounded. From the darkness, you reach into your muddled memories and catch a glint of cold iron. When you open your eyes, Pupa Pan stares back at you. He would have you believe that faith is all it takes to fly, but you think Tavros could use something a little more material. You put a gentle hand on his shoulder and ask him what you can do to help him spread his wings. His metaphorical wings, that is. It's not like he could ever sprout real ones. The very thought is absurd. It's a shame you never got to go God tier. Tavros sighs. I just wish I could live more independently, I guess. To take charge of my life and become less under Vriska's thumb. You think Tavros could use some better friends. Real friends. I do have some. Nepeta is very kind to me often. Gemzy and I like to throw down sick rhymes, and Kanaya tries to help with Vriska, but there's not a lot they can do when we live far away. And as nice as my Lucis is, he's unable to help me with all my issues, due to his small size limiting him to only moving and carrying small objects to me when I require them. The simple fact is that I didn't build my hive with the expectation of one day using a four-wheeled device to navigate it. Can Tavros move to a better hive? Could you help him with that? No. As a bronze, the stipend I receive is not enough to cover such things. Even this four-wheel device, which is highly basic compared to some high-blood models, would have cost me over a wipe's worth of savings. Few changes are available to me, economically speaking, especially if I want to not alert drones to my unsuitedness for troll expectations. You see, if money is the issue, that's not something you can help him with, at least not directly. but you might know others who can. You tell Tavros that you're going to step out for a moment to fetch a mutual friend. My girl! He seems briefly surprised when you return with Kanaya. You guess you don't blame him. This strikes you as a pretty rare pairing, conversationally speaking. Yes, in reference to the fact that we only hear about Kanaya and Tavros' friendship through other people. They don't have a single conversation with each other throughout the entire comic. Oh, Kanaya. It's nice to see you, in person, unexpectedly. Wow, my hive is terrible looking. Sorry, but hi. God, honestly, that's how I feel like whenever Noah comes over to stream. Like, I clean my room, but there's still just so many piles of junk that they don't have any other places to go, and I'm just like, this place a hot mess, but welcome. You look nice. Yes, I do. That's my girl. How are you faring? Has my advice regarding the construction of an imaginary friend helped aid your self-esteem? Well, I haven't really got to try it yet, so no, it hasn't, I guess. Kanaya suppresses a sigh. Okay. Well, let's get directly to business. I've brought some materials with which to renovate your hive. Oh. Please advise us as to how best to redesign the place to suit your needs. Tavros' eyes water up and he sniffs, leaning forward in his chair. Really? You would do that for me? Despite it taking a large portion of time and effort, and presumably money as well? I don't really spend my stipend on much besides fabric, and I intend to twist Vriska's arm until she offers a portion of her flarping treasures to foot the bill too. And of course I'd do it for you. Any less would be a rejection of my helpful sensibilities. Kanaya says it with a neutral tone and a straight face, as if there's nothing remarkable about it, but Tavros nevertheless breaks into a grin. Wow, thanks. Okay, give me some time to develop ideas on how to properly jack this hive up and deliver the most utterly dope and pimped up changes. God, that's a painful sentence to read. This is going to be so great. You give Tavros the requested time and then begin the work in earnest. You weren't sure what to expect, but the construction process proves to be smoother than anticipated. Kanaya brings a set of alien devices which she claims to have borrowed from a sea-dwelling friend of hers. One converts raw materials into a strange substance that reminds you of fruit gushers. So, this would be a grist widget borrowed from Feferi. Kanaya fells trees with her chainsaw and feeds them into the machine, and before long you have a trove of the gusher things. The other device expends the gushers to modify buildings. It has a holographic click-and-drag interface, much like The Sims played in real life, which is Spurb technology. You find this construction software to be incredibly handy and also eerily familiar. But honestly, you find everything eerily familiar these days. Yes, it's very convenient. Home construction has been an important part of troll culture for as long as history remembers. Most do not know why, although to me the reason is obvious. Preparation for the game which we will no longer be playing due to outside interference. Bingo, because it didn't come up during her route. But Kanaya, as, the space player, was awake on Prospit up until MSPA Reader started fucking around. Wait, she knows about that? Yes. I figured out what was going on a day or two after you visited me, but I thought it prudent not to get particularly dramatic about it all. That was very thoughtful of her. Yeah, I try. I love her. You know what I just fucking realized? I forgot to turn the sound back on, because I'm a fool. I mean, it's just Bronze Rebel playing throughout the entire route, but still. Anyway. Kanaya finishes feeding logs into the first device, and begins to manipulate Tavros' hive with the other. Together, you are a clockwork team. Tavros provides directions, Kanaya implements them with her stellar sense of design, and you provide moral support by standing around looking cute. Okay, yes. Nudge that shelf over to the left. Yeah, like that. Wait, actually, right. Further. Okay, no, go back. A bit more. That's almost good. Now make it a little tad higher. Yes, no, lower. She's getting increasingly frustrated. There, right there, and... Yes, perfect, I think. Okay, actually, can you go back to where it first was? And just face smash into the fucking keyboard. Ta-da! In the end, it takes until the next day to finish construction, which is actually great time. You were expecting to have to zap forward once or twice for the sake of narrative brevity, but with the Alternian building tools, Tavros' hive is swiftly renovated. Ta-da! Just take the UI off so you can get a nice look at this wheelchair-accessible hive. Yeah, it looks great. And it's fucking built for a wheelchair. Like, they lowered the... Wow. How is my brain doing this to me? All I can think is soap or slime. But that's what's in it. Recuperacoon! Jesus Christ. They lowered the Recuperacoon so it's inlaid in the floor. They set the desk up so that he can more easily pull his chair all the way in. They lowered the shelving so that he can reach all of his things. I mean, just having storage in the first place is also a pretty big revelation, because everything was just on the floor for him to just, like, roll over all the time. Oh, and they fixed the window that was broken before and gave it a hand crank low enough for him to reach. Yeah. So yeah, it's some good shit. It is far more spacious than it once was, with ramps and rails aplenty. Oh yes, the spaciousness in general. Although, I mean, we can only see from this one angle. It does look a lot more spacious with all the shit on the floor. Under Tavros' guidance, you widened hallways, lowered counters, revamped bathrooms. It's like a brand new house. You don't have a ribbon to cut in celebration, so Tavros summons some bizarre fetus-spawn creature to shoot confetti all around the entrance to the hive. It's all gross and sticky, and you hate every second of it, but he's having fun. After that, Tavros spends a while just exploring the hive. He wheels himself through each block, awed by the ease with which he can navigate the space. By the time he returns to his respite block, his grin is radiant. You take it he likes the new place. Oh yes, this pad is now genuinely frigid. It makes me feel more confident, like the world is my bivalved jewel container. Like I could say to Vriska, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, biatch. Oh boy, don't. This makes me recall the one line that he had in Act 6. I think this is from the scene where he was showing them that he gathered the army, and he was just like, you know, look at this, bitches, or some other term that is less derogatory towards women. Oh. Okay, I won't say that probably, but I could. Look on Kanaya's fucking face. Actually, maybe I will say that. And she's just like, God fucking damn it, kid. as well as plenty of other deliriously rude things which long have I avoided saying. Pardon me. Okay, that's probably enough, you tell him. Kanaya is staring icily at him, but he doesn't seem to notice. You suggest that it's a good time to settle down. The sun's gonna be rising pretty soon. Right. While we still have some moonlight, would you like to stay for a while, Kanaya, and play some games with us? Oh no, that's quite alright. I'm afraid I have duties to attend to at home. I left a dress in the oven. She just wants to fucking leave. But that's literally... God, I love Kanaya so much. Kanaya blinks and carefully maintains her poise. It's made out of clay, you see. I'm getting experimental. God fucking damn it. Oh, I love her. Oh, that makes sense. Well, goodbye. She smiles at Tavros and shoots you a pointed glance. You take it as your cue to place a hand on her shoulder, concentrate on her hive, and send her back in a flash of light. Once she's gone, Tavros wheels up to you and nudges you in the hip. So, regarding Kanaya, this could perhaps be me misreading the situation, but when I reach deep inside and tap into the marvelous power of the self-esteems, it tells me that I'm very right and smart. Did you see the way that she was smiling at me? Almost in a way as to suggest amorous inclinations? He wiggles his eyebrows furiously in your direction. Oh, jeez. You tell Tavros that's just, what friendship looks like. She's not his type. Trust me, you say. Yeah, this fucking kid just, like, has had so little experience with actual friendship that he's misinterpreting Kanaya's signals as romantic. Rip. Drat. But, oh well. You know what? He's immediately backs the fuck off. So that's good. I think there is a saying about this, that the sea has many fish in it. Now that I am feeling better, I think perhaps I will one day go fishing for a quadrant or two. Well, it's a start. It's going to take some time for this kid to figure out what genuine self-esteem is like. But just like the precipitating clouds part to reveal a brilliant sky in blue, you think Tavros is on the verge of seeing the sun. The moon? This metaphor would have been better on Earth. Tavros can be more than he is, and he doesn't need to change to do it. When he offers you a smile, there's a spark of compassion behind it that tells you he's already worth the world. All he ever needed was someone to believe in him. So I don't know about saying that he doesn't need to change at all. Everybody could use a little change. And, you know, Tavros could use some change just the same as the rest of us. He doesn't just need someone to believe in him. He does need to develop genuine confidence. You know, confidence that doesn't rely on external validation. But I digress. And money. He also needed money. So, would you like to perhaps celebratorily play a round or two of Fiduspawn with me? I am feeling much more prepared to enjoy a game, and perhaps think that this time I will proceed to crush you with my incredible might as a Fiduspawn breeder. Except, I mean that in a nice way, like that of a friendly challenge. If you'll accept. The word friend in that sentence was all you needed to hear. Victory! And that is our good end. Ta-da! Hell yeah, accessibility, motherfuckers. And with that... MSPR, what the fuck is that? Yeah... yeah. Fiduspawn is... a really interesting concept. I'm sure there's some fic out there that explores it a little further. Or that kind of makes a more elaborate rule set for it that might be interesting to look into. Pardon me. Okay, I'm just gonna have a drink of water, and then we're gonna help him fly. Hiya, Phoenix. Yep. Pokemon Trainer Tavros. There's probably also a fic about that. Okay. Help him fly. From the darkness, you reach into your muddled memories and catch a glint of glimmering gold. When you open your eyes, Pupa Pan stares back at you. Unlike him, you don't have special Stardust, but you think you might have something better. Getting your ass kicked by the rock leader because you don't know how to fight against rocks. Oh no, I'm really sorry, I can't help you with that. I hope that you are able to make it through. I don't really know much beyond the most basic type pairings. I will regularly, when I'm playing Pokemon, I'll turn to my brother and be like, hey, what the fuck? Because he knows, but I do not. I apologize that I cannot help you. A single Blastoise, one watery boy. Oh, true, that's right. I think water type is strong against rock type because of, like, erosion and shit, right? Just barely had the moves. Yeah. Your team is very weak to them. Oh no. Oh. Well, let us know how that works out. I'm gonna keep on reading. You tell Tavros you'll be right back. Sort of. The now familiar Prospitian spires greet you. You swoop through the shiny architecture until you find those towers that seem to house the dreaming children. Sure enough, Tavros' dream self can be found in one tower, nestled comfortably in a Recuperacoon. You poke him on the cheek. No response. You give him a little shake. Nothing. With a sigh, you rear back your hand and slap him hard. Tavros remains asleep. He's practically comatose. Why? This feels so off. Karkat is awake and Tavros isn't, and something about that is just wrong. It's all wrong. How can you help Tavros under these circumstances? Ooh. I didn't get to finish reading that line before it did the thing. You need to wake him up. Why won't he... Tavros yawns as he rises blearily from his slumber and squints around. He crawls out of the Recuperacoon and reaches over to the ramp beside it with an instinctual motion. His hands find no wheelchair and he tumbles over and then quickly rises, and realizes with a start that he is floating in midair. Whoa, what? Surprise! You inform Tavros that this is the mystical world of dreams, and that is part of the game he was supposed to play one day, but now isn't going to. Maybe. Probably? You'll be honest, you still don't know exactly how this works. But you do know that this is a land where he can fly. That seems highly improbable that such a world would exist. Or especially that I would be allowed to enter it and fly freely around with no repercussions. It just seems like a thing that would never eventually happen to me, does it not? But it is happening, you tell him. You prove it by pinching his arm. He flinches. Why did you just assault me? It's a thing. Pinching is... Okay, this is a cultural misunderstanding. But the fact that he can feel pain should prove that this place is real, or at least as real as a magic dream world can be. I see. My arm certainly does hurt in a realistic manner, as well as my feelings due to the uncalled for attack from the friendly individual. Oh, for fuck's sake. You tell Tavros to stop worrying about that and start unworrying about how he can fly now. Oh, yeah. With unsteady movements, Tavros begins to circle his dream room. He holds his hands out as he sails around, floating upwards and then dipping down. He seems to get the hang of it quickly, as he does, his face cracks into a warm smile. Oh, this feels really amazing. At your invitation, Tavros follows you out the window and sees Prospit stretching towards him. His eyes go all starry. Can I really explore all of this area? He can, you tell him. Probably. Just don't go barging into anyone's houses. Hell, okay. Tavros does loops and twirls, pirouettes around spires, and weaves through throngs of Prospitian civilians. He hoots and hollers, the anxious crescendo in his voice nearly absent. The sound echoes among the golden towers and rebounds back at you, a cacophony of childlike exhilaration. You swoop alongside him, buoyed by his excitement, and the two of you begin to race each other around the planet. You run out of energy before Tavros does, but eventually he comes down from his high. He floats lazily beside you, upside down, his mohawk hanging down into his face. His eyes are locked on the sky and clouds, and he's wearing a wide, if oddly blank, grin. Hey, I want to thank you for doing this for me, allowing me to feel this freedom and joy. It really means a lot. You grin and give him a thumbs up. You're glad you could help. Yeah, me too. You glance up at the clouds. How long have you been out here? You figure it's probably time to head back to the real world. You tell him you'll teleport back and then wake him up. What? Oh no. Don't wake me up, please. I don't want to go back to that life. When I could spend my days here, forever feeling blissful and happy for once. You pause. That's not the response you were expecting, although you suppose you should have seen this coming. What about his friends? His responsibilities in the waking world? What happens when the drones come knocking? Well, those are some pertinent questions which I don't care about, though. This is where I am happy and where I belong. That's what you wanted, right? To help me be happy? Right. Then your work here is done. He smiles at you, and you feel like you should smile back, but there's a hint of sadness behind his eyes that gives you pause. It's like he's waiting for you to take charge and tell him off for choosing escapism, waiting for you to make the hard decision he doesn't have the guts to make. But that's not the kind of person you are. If he'd rather spend most of his time asleep, that's good enough for you. Given the planet he lives on, you can't blame him. So you give him a little wave and vanish into the ether of canon. By the time he works up the nerve to say something, you're already gone. And those are all of the people he talked about earlier bugging him on his computer, and he is not there. And that is Tavros. I think it was alright. Yeah, there's definitely a few lines in there that I still need to figure out how to talk about the way that they sit with me, and that they sit a little bit off. But overall, I think it was good. Yeah, it was good. Let's take a look at the Chumroll now. That we finished both sides of this volume. So Tavros, a heart so true. You stood by Tavros' side and helped renovate his hive. You still don't understand food spawn, though. And Aradia from yesterday, a beginner's guide to destroying paradox space. You caused havoc just because you could. Aradia's smile makes it all worth it. Yes, I would do anything for that beautiful smile. And the bonus, you're really bad at taking hints. This was an achievement for clicking on the ghost option 3 times in a row. And credits! So, writers. Yes, we had David Turnbull back for Tavros and James Roach returning for Aradia. Character art, we have Bray Rivera back for both of the sprites for this volume, and for the background and the ending illustrations, Courtney Brundle. Music. So, yes, Ian Nucleus Rodriguez, Tavros' theme Bronze Rebel from Colors and Mayhem, and Aradia's theme, yeah, it is. Intended to be the answer to the question of, wait, is that Megalovania? Yeah, it is. Yes, and then Volume 8, David Turnbull, Game Design and Programming. Ta-da! So that is Pesterquest. We do have one last quick thing to take a look at, which is the Steam page, because the Steam update page, Team Charge, Volume 8 of Pesterquest is out now. So, their descriptions, Tavros Nitram, Boy Skylark, can rap the whole Fetus Slam from memory, which is the reference to the fucking poke rap, which makes me think about Brian David Gilbert's perfect poke rap, of course. And now auditioning imaginary friends. Just in time for you to beat the gym leader's ass. Fuck yeah! And Aradia Megiddo. Vibes. Did you know? There's a skeleton in your body right now. So, here's the usual emoji set. I gotta say, I feel like whoever makes these is not familiar with chat apps like Discord that let you do custom emojis, because these Tavros emojis are too fucking small. They're impractically small. Like, there's character emojis where they've been even closer than this, that you load them up into, you know, something like Discord and use them at the end of a sentence, and they're too small. This is like, all of the detail in his face is going to disappear. And they have another set of wallpapers as well. So, that is stream for today. And that is stream for this whole weekend. I'll be returning to you next Tuesday to finish Speed Dating for Ghosts Go to Hell expansion. And next weekend, we'll be right back to Homestuck reread streams. It's been a bit because we had that Homestuck Squared update, and then we had Pesterquest coming at us. It was a busy time for new things happening, but it's chilled out now. We're all caught up. So next weekend, we're coming back to page 203. I forget what page that is. However, I digress. Starting page 203 next Friday evening. In the meantime, Tuesday night, Speed Dating for Ghosts. It's going to be a good time. I have thoroughly enjoyed that expansion pack so far, and I really enjoyed the new characters we've been introduced to, and I'm intrigued as to the final 3 dates. Because, you know, Agatha is just a very interesting character with a very intriguing backstory, and Andy, we left him off kind of dying. You know, demon fading away. I'm concerned for Andy. And I'm interested in hearing the conclusion to their Pesterquest. Pesterquest? Wow, my brain right now. Speed dating for ghosts. Anyway, I'm just sitting here repeating myself, which means it's time for me to fucking stop. So, fingers crossed, I will be seeing you all right back here on Tuesday. If you can't make it to midweek stuff, then I hope I'll be seeing y'all right back here Friday, Saturday next weekend for Homestuck reread streams. Have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you may be getting up to, and good night.